Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me once again. In today's video we're going to be talking about what's going on in the market. As you all have probably seen, it's all very green, and especially for the Ethereum Killers, which are really actually killing it in the market right now. Will that continue, or is Ethereum going to strike back very soon? We're going to talk about that in today's video. We'll talk about Avalanche AVAX. We'll also look at Sol and Polkadot, although we won't go into those two in too much detail because we have done previous videos on them. But Avalanche, will have a quick look at their website and talk about the reasons why these coins are doing incredibly well this week. And then we'll talk about how Ethereum is probably going to try and smack them all in the face next week and the weeks beyond. But we'll talk about what to expect from the market. We'll look at the charts, do some chart analysis for our main coins. And of course, we'll look at some of the breaking news in the market as well. So if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure you like this video too and share it with whoever you can. YouTube are actively basically trying to suppress crypto content, and I'm going to have to just ask you all very nicely to get the word out there about crypto. Make sure as many people as you know are aware of this amazing space that we're in. Let's get people involved. Okay, so let's start off with our, of course, market roundup. Now, I'll apologize to those of you who usually watch me do a live stream. I've been having some technical difficulties, which is why I'm recording this instead of going live tonight. But normally I'm doing a live stream on a Monday night and a Friday night at 9 PM British Standard Time. And we have our little format where I'll start off by talking about the market with this Coin 360 heat map, and we will then look at some of the charts, some of the news, and then I take questions and look at charts you guys want to look at. Obviously not happening in this video, but if you want to join me on my live streams on Monday and Friday, that will be your opportunity to ask me which coins you would like to see charts for. So, what's going on with the market right now? Well, lovely to see it. We've got a lot of green across the board, and yes, all right, we can see there that Bitcoin is up 5.5%, but we were up higher earlier today. In fact, we were just this close to touching 50k, and as you guys know, I did say 50k would be a pretty decent resistance level. Not one that's going to cause us to go back into any sort of bearish trend, but certainly one that will cause Bitcoin to pause for thought. So I think that that's probably going to play out. We will look at the chart for Bitcoin in a moment. Ethereum is doing very well this week, although it is now ranging, but that's good news too, and I'll show you on the chart why if you hold on and stick with me for that part of the video. We'll also be looking at Sol and the chart for AVAX, sorry, and we'll also look at Polkadot very quickly too. As for the rest of them, we'll probably cover these in videos later in the week. XRP has done pretty damn well this last week, really regaining some of those losses, and actually we've seen that across the board. Some coins are still holding back. For example, ICP has had a bit of a pump this week, but still looks like it's very close to the bottom of, I believe in my opinion that ICP actually has bottomed out, but the price isn't that much higher. It's not broken out really to the same degree as we've seen the rest of the market. So we'll probably see some action from some of these other coins as Bitcoin and Bitcoin starts to slow down, and maybe Ethereum starts to take over a bit. We should probably see that happen over the next week or two. So what I want to bring your attention to first is where we were with Bitcoin back on the 29th of June. Okay, and this is still when people were saying that we were in a bear market, and were saying that basically Bitcoin's price was going to continue to go down and we were going to see 20k. Back then in June and before, myself and the CryptoPig team were one of the only kind of YouTube and Twitter, crypto Twitter teams that were saying, no, this isn't the end. Come on, guys, stop being so pessimistic. We are going to see another breakout. And as you can see there, at that point there, I was saying that, we'll hit around 38k and then come back to test 31. But if we do get over that 38k, we'll probably range and then back into sort of the bull run with regards to Bitcoin. if we go over and take a look at Bitcoin's charts, so what actually happened. Okay, so we didn't go quite as high as 38k, we were just under 37, but you can see there that we ended up coming back down and testing the bottom of that channel. And then when we did decide to break out, look at that, we broke out really nicely and we came and tested 38 as support, just like I was expecting. And from there, we have had a very nice breakout with these nice phases of accumulation, where we've had like a sort of a week or so of accumulation before another move up. Bitcoin is doing very well and showing that this bull run is definitely not over. In fact, we are still ranging below the top band of that RSI, which is an indicator that things can continue up from here. We also are going to probably see a bullish crossover of the 50-day and the 200-day moving average coming up soon as well. So as you can see, things are looking very bullish for Bitcoin right now, although of course we're kind of in that sort of range while we just accumulate after pumping back up to these levels. But you can see that we're already sort of trying now to get up past this sort of quite substantial resistance at 50k. Once we're up there and back above this support line here, we are back into the bull run fully, and we'll probably do see more accumulation maybe over September, and then in December, sort of late autumn, I think we're going to see a real push for 100k. I believe 100k is coming by the end of this year. So my prediction is we're going to see the price of Bitcoin. We'll draw it here and commit it to the chart. It's going to come up here, break over 50k, probably get to its all-time high again, and then I think we will see some ranging. And then as we get towards the end of this sort of autumn period, then we're going to see ourselves break out and find ourselves heading up towards that 100k towards the end of this year. I'm very bullish about Bitcoin, and the rest of the market will, of course, follow. So that's Bitcoin. What about the rest of the market? So Ethereum, if we actually go and take a look at Ethereum, is doing exactly what I predicted that it would do. We narrowly avoided the death cross on the 200-day and the 50-day moving average, as I said before. And we then found support, and we're really developing some really nice support here at around, the sort of $3,000 to $2,900 levels. But we are kind of holding it at this point, accumulating and really turning this into a really nice, decent support level. We need that for us to then make our move up and beyond the all-time high. And we're not that far off from it, in fact, right now. So it is good news for Ethereum. I think that we're probably likely to see it range now for sort of maybe the beginning of this week. But I am predicting that there's going to be a breakout for Ethereum coming towards the end of next week or the beginning of September. And that's when we're going to see, we're going to probably see some correction and pullback on some of those other coins, and we'll see Ethereum and the layer 2 solutions take over on the market, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that if you've been buying up Avalanche or Sol or any of these other Ethereum killers, that you should be selling them off, because these guys have got a lot of growth left in them too. But it's just, like I say, an opportunity is going to be coming up in the market very soon for Ethereum to make some good gains. In fact, it was when I first did this chart, 41% back to the all-time high. Right now, from this kind of point, 31%. So there's some potential here for some really good gains once that breakout happens. We might find ourselves break above that and then range again, and find support before moving up even higher. Once we break here, though, I think that a parabolic move of some sort is pretty likely, and we may see a repeat of 2017 coming as a result of that, where Ethereum and Ethereum-based projects are going to do very well. One of the reasons I think that the layer 2 solutions like Polygon, Matic, why those tokens are going to do very well is that one thing I've noticed is that when we get our gas fees hitting some sort of all-time highs and the network slows down, we end up finding ourselves at resistance, and the actual network creates the resistance in the price movement for us, I believe. So with these layer 2 solutions, we can do very fast transactions that are still effectively tied to Ethereum. So those tokens are going to do very well, and maybe they're going to help with keeping Ethereum moving in that parabolic style movement that we would like to see before Christmas. So what's going on though with the Ethereum Killers? So this article over at the Deviant kind of explains a fair bit about it. So it's been a killer week for Ethereum Killers. So this is shaping up to be a killer week for the so-called Ethereum Killers. Of the 100 largest tokens in terms of market capitalization, 7 of the top biggest gainers in the last week are smart contract platforms, according to CoinGecko. 11 of the top 15 smart contract platforms are up to double digits on the week, according to crypto research company Messari. Of those 3, Solana, Terra, and Avalanche are up over 75%. Cardano, Polkadot, and Cosmos are all up over 25%. And it makes sense. We've seen some news for a lot of these projects that's very, very bullish. And of course, Ethereum is now accumulating in what I actually believe is a bull flag formation here. So while this is happening, people are moving money around, trying to make their gains elsewhere. And of course, these other platforms are very, very compelling projects, especially Solana, which has had a lot of interest, but also Avalanche, which is really starting to catch people's attention, and one that I'm also interested in personally too. It says here, investors are encouraged by the rise of Solana, whose Sol token doubled in the past 2 weeks, and now want to put chips onto other layer 1s. And the Munib Ali, founder of Stack, says, I think people are realizing how large the potential market for smart contracts can be. Success of Ethereum fuels demand for new L1s and L2s, and as people see initial signs of traction of a new L1, recent example being Solana, then their confidence level on newer L1s being able to take market share can go up in general. Transaction fees, obviously a big part of it. Ethereum is very expensive to use still, even after the London hard fork. Much more predictable to be able to predict your gas fees now, but those prices are still pretty high. And as I've been pointing out to you guys, there's been a hell of a lot of deflationary blocks on Ethereum, and that's great news for the price of Ethereum, because if you also remember, we were talking about how the largest hodler of Ethereum right now is the Ethereum 2.0 smart contract, the staking contract for Ethereum 2.0. That holds the most Ethereum. I think it was 7. I don't want to say what it was because I will get it wrong. It was 7 million Ethereum or something ridiculously high that are being held on the contract. Now I've said it, I'm going to have to definitely check, otherwise I will look very stupid. So this article over at CoinDesk actually gives us the answer. F2.0 is currently holding 7 million ETH, which is actually $21.3 billion worth of Ethereum being held there. And funny enough, look at that. Wrapped ETH is actually coming in at second, holding 6.7 million ETH. So if you put it this way, with the sheer amount of Ethereum being held in the smart contracts for staking on Ethereum 2.0 and also for wrapped ETH, then the fact that we have the deflationary blocks, and just to explain, a deflationary block is one where more Ethereum is actually burned as gas than is actually rewarded to the miners. So we are going to see a supply issue with Ethereum as we move forward, in that there's going to be less of it available. Obviously, it's very divisible, so it's not an issue that we do that. It just means that the price of Ethereum is pretty much set to continue increasing as a result of this London upgrade and the rest of what's going on around it. So what is Avalanche and AVAX? So this is a new, it's newish layer 1 solution. It's its own smart contract platform for decentralized dApps. Now, with this, they are Solidity compatible, which is part of the reason why I think Avalanche is really popular, and we're seeing projects moving over to Avalanche very quickly and very keen to do it as well. So we saw Aave protocol move over here just the other day, and others have joined it. I believe we've got quite a few dApps now just moving over to Avalanche. We also have the ability to launch customized blockchains, private and public ones. And it does say here that you could scale to millions of validators with minimal hardware requirements. And if you look here, you can see how Avalanche compares to the other layer 1 solutions out there. Of course, Bitcoin is only 7 transactions per second, and it doesn't do anything particularly amazing when it comes to contracts yet, although we've got Lightning, which is a layer 2 solution, although I don't know how many people are using it. I know I don't use it, but I guess there are people using it. It's just not getting very much attention in the media, at least. We've got Ethereum at 14 transactions per second, Polkadot at 1,500 transactions per second, and Avalanche at 4,500, which is really good. These are all good numbers. Even Polkadot's 1,500 are great. For mainstream adoption, though, we know that these will not be enough still. We do need a solution that goes up to sort of 50,000 transactions per second. They're going to need to actually compete with Visa and all the rest of it. But I think that we're getting there. I think a lot of these layer 1s are, they're scalable, and we'll see how it plays out. But certainly it's great to see these transaction speeds moving up. It's nice to see proof of stake, which is a bit more environmentally friendly, and of course we haven't got less hardware requirements for actually being a validator on the network. So this one is getting a lot of attention at the moment, and I think for good reason. They also have a couple of things they're doing which have got some interest. First up is the Avalanche Bridge, which is a bridge to transfer tokens between Avalanche and Ethereum. So that is now available. But also they've got a new incentive program of $180 million, which they're trying to use to get people to jump onto Avalanche. This is a liquidity mining incentive program. The token was up 60%. Yeah, we know this. Where was the information that I want to share? Okay, yes, so this is it. The Avalanche Foundation said in a press release that a $180 million DeFi incentive program titled Avalanche Rush will bring top DeFi applications to the platform, including Aave and Curve. That's the other one that was joining it this week, Curve. Avalanche is a platform that's used to build custom blockchain networks and decentralized applications. Aptly dubbed Avalanche Rush, the program will lead exactly to that, an avalanche of hot money rushing towards AVAX, head of research at Synergy Capital said. The token is still well off its all-time high of around $59 that it hit 6 months ago, and the spirit of strength in numbers, strong partnerships such as those utilized by Polygon with Curve, Aave and others is a better strategy to attract and to retain users as opposed to reinventing the wheel on their own. Now, it makes sense to me, because at the end of the day, I think that the number of protocols you have available on your network is going to be the incentive for people to come and use it. And certainly, if there's the potential to make some good returns on this one, then people are going to be lining up to buy this token. And if we go and take a look at AVAX, you can see that the excitement for this one is still going very, very strong. In fact, considering the crash that we had back in May, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are very relieved, because obviously the price is now bringing itself back up here. And to be fair, I haven't bought any AVAX yet, but if I was looking at buying this, I probably would have been probably unlucky enough to have bought it around here, thinking that this was that this was a nice big massive macro bull flag. So a lot of people may have been buying then, and then just had it pulled out from underneath them during that crash. And if they were unfortunate enough to sell it down here, they will be kicking themselves, because it hasn't taken a huge amount of time for them to get back up to that $38 level. And this is very healthy to see, and gives me a lot of hope for a lot of the other altcoins in the market as well. We've recovered very quickly from that correction, and it kind of does really reinforce for me the idea that what we were seeing with Bitcoin back in May was in fact a Wyckoff pattern or a Wyckoff event. So I do feel like that's kind of, that point has been proven, and now we are seeing people getting excited again and coming back into the market. Now, as far as AVAX can go at the moment, I believe that we will probably see some form of cool off for AVAX by the end of this weekend. No massive correction. I can't see it coming anywhere near back down here. That's not my concern at all. In fact, we're very close now, and it looks almost inevitable that we're going to get a golden crossover on the 200-day and 50-day moving averages. Volume is amazing over the last few days. But with us being back up here, we may get some skittish kind of investors that bought around here that go, you know what, I'm gonna cut my losses now, and well, there won't be losses because they're back in profit, but they may go, oh, I'm gonna sell off now. But we'll also have some selling pressure from anyone smart enough to have bought it when it was $9. So we could see some sort of not massive correction, but just some retracement there. And I think that if it happens, it's probably likely that we'll find it come down to around $24, $25 at a maximum. And the kind of the best scenario would be that the correction brings it to $30 and it kind of finds support here again before making its sort of move up towards new all-time highs again. So AVAX looking very, very positive. I think that this one is one definitely to watch. If you haven't bought into it already, I would probably just caution that you just wait and see whether it finds resistance here, and maybe look at entering at $30, or seeing if it's potentially can go down further to 23. Right now, no sort of strong indicator that we're going to go that far back, but certainly I think that some sort of pullback to around $30 to $33 is very realistic, and that might be a good entry point. Of course, none of this financial advice, but just my thoughts on the market and how I'd play it. If you bought in here, at $9, congratulations, you've done very well for yourself. Would I sell now? I don't know if I would sell. Maybe I would look at a stop loss. I think that I'm definitely feeling that there will be some slowdown in AVAX now over the next sort of over this week coming, and I think what we'll find, like I said before, is that Ethereum will take the lead after that. And so that's Avalanche out of the way, and let's go and take a look at Sol. Sol, on the other hand, compared to everything else going on, Sol has been pretty damn impressive, to be honest with you. So we talked about Solana before, and we probably won't go into it again with all the details of how it all works and such forth. You can check out the video that we did reviewing this one. But what I do like about this is that it really didn't seem to take as big a hit during that correction that we went through. I imagine that if I actually bring in this and look at the kind of pullback on it, it probably has been pretty substantial. But not nearly as much as what we've seen from other coins there, as you can see. So 59%, when many were sort of 80-90% pullback as a result of that correction in May. Solana has really held its own. In fact, you can see here that this has literally been a very, very clear accumulation phase for Solana, rather than it being any sort of bearish kind of sell-off. So yeah, we've seen accumulation of it here, and you see that it it did test the 200-day moving average twice over that period, and we had no death cross on this one, and now we are actually back to a new all-time high for Solana. This means that we are in price discovery mode, of course, which does mean that we're probably going to see some volatility with this one over the next sort of couple of weeks. If the rest of the market continues moving in the way I think it's going to move, then we are probably going to see some more gains on Solana as a result. But we can kind of see that it is slowing down now. Look at the volume dropping off as we move into the weekend. And we're seeing that in the kind of actual candles as well. We're seeing some sort of a fight there between bulls and bears. Nothing indicating that we're going to see any major corrections, although now that we are in that all-time high territory, that undiscovered price action, we could see, of course, the price come and test one of these previous levels just out of the sheer volatility that we will get in this phase. So it wouldn't really shock me if we were to come back down and test that all-time high of $56. Yeah, that's a big drop considering, but that is where the next level of support is going to effectively be. So I would be cautious on this one. It's obviously going into the 1 hour. You can see that it's trying to build support here at around $70. If we can see that happen over the next couple of days, then that's going to be our support level moving forward for Solana. We may see a bull flag develop here. If we do, then the next breakout is going to be pretty impressive, and we could be seeing Solana head up to around $150 as a result of some sort of bull flag and breakout there. I would have to definitely look at Solana's tokenomics just to get an idea of how much further this one can go, but with all the hype, the fact that it's a layer 1, it's very new, I think this one could go a lot higher than it is right now. So it doubling from where it is right now is not really that unlikely. And so I did say though I would take a look at Cardano ADA, I think, didn't I? So let's just quickly do Cardano ADA, and then we'll move on to some of the news. So I prefer to do it actually on Binance. Where am I? There we are. So Cardano has done actually pretty well. Let's have a look and see where we're at. Now, you know that I was worried about Cardano ADA, not because I don't believe in the project or because I don't think that it's going to do well. I honestly really believe in the project, and now that smart contracts are, pretty much here, I think that this is only going to get better. My biggest concern for quite a long time was this support zone here of $1, which was all the support we had between it and 30 cents. Now that we seem to be back into a bull run, I am feeling more and more confident that this support zone is going to... we don't have to worry about this support zone anymore, basically. I can't say never, never say never, as they say, but I do think that we will find that we're now kind of moving past that potential drop there to 30 cents. So that's good news. We are, of course, now back up over our all-time high, which again means that we're going to start to see some volatility, or actually we're in line really with the all-time high. So we may actually find ourselves range here or get rejected. We have to be aware of that. So let's put that in there, because that will be resistance by the looks of it. We certainly are seeing that actually play out right now with the doji pattern there on the 1 day time frame, and we're opening red on today's candle. Just to be aware there, because obviously this is going to be a significant point of potential resistance, and volume hasn't been excessively high like we saw with some of those other coins like Sol. We also are in the oversold territory on the RSI. So some form of correction here may be likely. I think that if that happens, it does look like we would see a decent bit of support actually develop. Actually, let me get the drawing tools up, because I think that it's going to be more likely to be a band of support, which is going to kind of provide us with some support here. Oh, didn't click it down. There we go, and we need to make that green because it is support, not... Okay, so I think that this is actually quite likely moving forward from here, is that if we get rejected here, the price may well come down to $1.90 and find support here again. Remember, we're looking at this on the macro time frame, so this is if we do find ourselves rejected properly from this resistance level. Obviously, there's a very good possibility that when we look at it on the 1 hour time frame, that we actually just range against this resistance level and actually return this into support here before breaking through. So, there is that possibility there. I think that if I'm looking at this from a midterm perspective, then I would probably be expecting some kind of correction, maybe not as far back down as the support. It might find that it finds support here at $2.20, certainly at $2 psychological level. But if we're looking at it macro, it's quite likely that the next sort of level of support would be here. But again, I'm feeling much more confident about Cardano ADA moving forward. And with the rest of the market looking so bullish, it's quite likely that, in fact, what we will end up seeing is, like I said there, it will range here just below that all-time high, and then we'll break out from there. So just a few things for you to consider there on the charts. Keep your eyes open. It is looking very bullish. I don't feel like I'm in any panic to sell anything right now. But of course, you do still want to take advantage of any opportunities that come your way. If it does pull back down there, I think that that would be very strong support and would be a great entry point to make some serious gains, because Cardano ADA now with smart contracts is going to do very, very well. So news-wise, what do we have to talk about? So we are seeing, it's funny, isn't it? The market's doing very well, but we do need to be worried about, well, not worried, but cautious and aware of what's going on. And obviously, Gensler, the SEC's chairman, he is saying that crypto DeFi projects aren't immune to regulation, and they are pushing to regulate the space. We do need to be careful of that. We obviously saw that happen with the infrastructure bill recently, and this will be the next stage. The only thing I can say is if they're going to regulate it, I hope that he's smart enough, and I believe that he is probably a smart guy, but whether he cares about crypto enough, which may not be the case. He's a banker and has been been with all the banks for a long time. But if he wants to allow for innovation, I hope that at least if they regulate the DeFi projects, they don't do it the same way that they regulate centralized exchanges, because it's all very different, and it will stifle the actual enterprise part of the space and the innovation. We need to be able to keep moving and iterating and experimenting. So let's hope that the rules they do are going to kill the industry. Now that they're planning to tax this space, I'm hoping that they will be more sensible with any regulations they do decide to try and put in place. And funny enough, those regulations will only affect the Americans anyway, so any project outside of America won't be affected. So not news to be panicking about, but just to be aware of. The other thing I thought was a funny one I wanted to share with everybody was this one here. A costly legal error sees millions returned to convicted drug dealers. This is in Sweden. The Swedish state was forced to return some 13 million, I don't know what their currency is called, 13 million, whatever it is, to convicted drug dealers, money they had made from selling drugs. It's terrible, but it is funny. And it actually comes from a mistake where the money was converted from crypto, from Bitcoin, into krona, Swedish krona. That's their currency. Just before the currency's exchange rate skyrocketed. It's unfortunate. The lesson to learn from this is to keep the value in Bitcoin, says public prosecutor Tove Kohlberg. So that's really interesting. So they actually confiscated the Bitcoin from these drug dealers. And then because the value of it went up above what they recorded, they actually had to hand over the difference back to the drug dealers. Absolutely insane. And I mean, I'm not for drug dealers making illicit money, but it is a funny story. It just shows how this is so new still, that people who aren't aware of the space, they're not thinking ahead, and they're not thinking out all the possibilities and the implications of what they're doing. They're just saying, let's confiscate the Bitcoin, and not realizing what the implications of that are, and ended up having to give back loads of money to those drug dealers. What I don't understand is why they perhaps didn't wait. Did they have to give it back straight away, or could they have waited for a bad day on the market and then said, here, have your money back? I don't know. So that's that. And I was going to go into some NFT stuff. I won't go too much into NFTs tonight, but I do want to share this one with you all. This is Tony Babel. I've actually owned some of his work. Absolutely amazing artist and animator. I just love the vintage cartoon look. It's got that kind of retro Disney cartoon feel to it. All of his work is in this style. It looks amazing, and he's got a couple now on Super Rare, which is really great for him. So well done to you, Tony. And I just love the stuff. Really great. And I don't know if any of you play games, but there's a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine, which has a very similar style, where it's taken sort of old cartoons and turned it into a video game, which is quite cool. So yeah, I do like this style of stuff. Just wanted to share that with you guys. This one is Crappy Meal. The story behind it is quite funny. It's to do with the last dip in the market, and all the crypto people who was talking about going to work at McDonald's inspired this bit of work, as well as I believe Tony said in one of his tweets about his feelings on junk food. So I wanted to share that. And last update on NFTs as well is Curate. Now I haven't dug into this one too much yet, guys, but I did hear that this was going to be compatible with, or at least the plan is for it to be compatible with Algorand. And if that's the case, then that is going to be brilliant news, because I have some NFTs that I built on Algorand, and there's a video where I show you how to do that too. So hopefully, anyway, guys, that has been a useful video for you all. If it has, do please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the notification bell so that you'll be updated on all of my latest videos. I want you to be able to kind of come and join me for the live streams. Those are on Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. BST, British Standard Time, so do that too. And yeah, in the meantime, have a great weekend, and I will catch you all next week. See you then. Bye.